Hey everybody, it's Allie Edwards and welcome back to December Daily for 2023. I hope you had a lovely holiday. I ended up taking a couple days off after we came back from the concert. That's the story I'm going to actually tell today, to just hang out with family and be here and celebrate Christmas. And it was lovely and uncomplicated and easy and all of the things that I always hope for my Christmas celebrations here in our house. For the next couple days, I will be finishing up my album and sharing with you. This story today is going to be story 21 and 22. Just a little recap. Story 20 was talking about the gummy bear. That's when I played with creating the custom embossing mix. That was super fun. So I have the back of this page, which is going to go into this photo here is going to be cut up. So I took, excuse me, Simon and Anna and Audrey and one of Audrey's friends and one of Anna's friends, and we drove up to Seattle, which is about a 6-hour trip or so from our house to see a Macklemore concert, which we had been planning on going to for a long time. So it was essentially a 2-day trip where we got up in the morning, we drove up to Seattle, we went to the concert, and then we got up and turned around and came back home. So it was one of those quick adventures, but also full of fun, and I have lots of photos. So my plan here is that I'm going to start off on the back of the photo from story 20. I've printed out a photo here. It's about 8 by 8.25. I had considered adding this guy on here, but I feel like the scale is off just a little bit. It's just a little bit too big. So I'm going to figure out something to add on there. It might be the numbers, just 21 and 22, and then that's going to flow into my bigger story over here, which I want to do a fold out this time. So I have a large photo of Macklemore there, and then this is going to fold open. Fold out, fold open, to reveal the page protector here that I have with a bunch of ing words. I'm going to use those as the prompts for telling this story, celebrating, remembering, decorating, gifting. Decorating in this case, I was trying to think through, does this work for telling the story of a concert? But really decorating ourselves, because we all dressed up and that was really fun. So I can write a little bit about that, talk about who came with us. On the back here, I already have one text message that was between Aaron and I talking about how I'm really good at navigating lines, when you're waiting in line. Anyway, it's a whole inside joke sort of thing, but this is a place for inside jokes, right? Let's remember that as well. So this is going to get filled with some photos, most likely, or additional journal cards, and then I'm going to handwrite my journaling on these. So this is going to be tucked inside here. It's going to open this way, right here, and I have this template available for you, which is essentially 10 by 8.25 that I did in Photoshop, and I'm going to make a hinge like I've done on some of the other pages. Most likely I won't be embellishing these, but I loved this option to bring in all of these additional photos. So if you are somebody that has a large Christmas gathering or another large gathering from the month that you haven't recorded yet, something like this using a photo collage might be a great option for you. I most likely, once I cut this out, I'm pretty sure I'm going to use one of the page attachers to attach this in there. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. So this one's going to take a little bit of time in terms of construction, getting everything cut out, getting my journaling in there, deciding on some embellishments that I might want to add in. And I might go super simple, like using just one of those stars from the main kit. Let's see, I'm going to pull that out. Like this, just even something like that would be really fun, intermixed with my journaling and such. So let's see, what else did I want to say to you guys? I'm happy to be back. I loved having a break, so thank you for that piece of it. Having the break was really nice, and being able to just focus on family and our own holiday celebration here. It was really nice. But I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to wrap this up. I'm always very motivated to finish up whatever stories I have in this project. If I haven't finished it before Christmas, then right after Christmas kind of goes along with picking up everything around the house and getting myself into a fresh, clean slate for the new year. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Again, this is going to take a little bit of time just in terms of construction. Here we go. All right, so diving right into the process in this one, first steps were just trimming out each of my photos, including the larger photos as well as the collage photos. Again, this one was about 8 inches wide by 8.25 tall, and that's going to go on the back of story 20 with the gummy bear there. And then these other ones ended up being about 10 inches wide by 8.25 inches tall, which is what you will see on the layer template if you want to use that, which is able to be used in Photoshop. For that, you would just do 2 of them, and then you can connect them together like you're going to see me do here in a minute. I'm just trimming them out, and I'm getting, with these, my goal here is to get them close enough, because then I always take my X-Acto knife and my metal ruler and I come back in and go ahead and get it closer or trim off any of the excess. Now I'm just laying it out on my table so I can see how this is actually going to work, right? The construction of building this. And what I end up doing is I wanted to try something that someone else had suggested for the hinges. Sometimes you've seen me do the hinges this season, and they've been 2 inches wide or something like this. And someone suggested you could always do them bigger too. She was saying lighter paper, but have it bigger. So this is essentially, I'm taking an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I cut down a little bit to 11 by 8.25. And then you can see just folding it there. And then, so it's basically you have more to adhere it to, right? More to adhere it to, and potentially more stability in the long run. With this one, I actually don't end up putting on any washi tape or anything else to cover up any of the seams, and it seemed to work out really well. So that's just basic typing paper sort of thing. So thank you for that tip. That seemed to work really well on here. I love the big flip out. I think it's a fun way to incorporate a lot of additional photos. Then I have my big Macklemore photo there. That's going to go on the outside, which will be the part that flips open or turns open. You can see this time I'm just using rolling adhesive. Sometimes I do use red line tape. Just kind of depends on how I'm feeling in the moment. And really, I think how sticky from past experience, how well things have stuck together. All right, so there I've got the opening. You can see I'm going to bring in my metal ruler and my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to trim off the excess. My end goal, with these is it doesn't even have to be perfect in the end. I just want the extra parts, the white parts, trimmed off on the edges. And so that is what I am doing there. After I finished that part up, I pulled out one of my page attachers. Again, you could use the sticker page attachers that we have. Hopefully the plastic ones will be back in stock at some point in the near future. That's what I am using here. It has an adhesive strip that you just pull up, and then you're able to put it right down on there to be able to add it directly into your album. I saw a little bit more on there that I wanted to have trimmed off. So again, back to the X-Acto knife and the metal ruler, and I just put a new blade on that. No, it's just like butter cutting. It's such a nice reminder if you're having trouble cutting anything to sharpen the blade or get a new blade or something like that. All right, so for the dates on this one, I knew I wanted to do 21 and 22. When I went and looked in my numbers boxes there, my numbers organization, I had a black 21 and a black 22, which is from a previous year December daily chipboard set. I'm also trimming out a couple 3x4 cards that are going to go inside of the page protectors. That's actually, I was doing that while I was waiting for the Freestyle quill pen to warm up. I did end up going and getting both the bold and the regular tip size. So when you saw me use the foil quill Freestyle pen earlier this year on one of my photos, that was using the fine tip pen. And after seeing how well that worked, I definitely wanted to get the other pen tip sizes as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the bold pen tip to add dots, add gold foil dots onto this chipboard. And you can do it on any chipboard that you have, any color or anything. I just happen to have black ones. So I'm using the metal mat there, and then I'm going to, the metal mat is magnetic. So those are magnets that are holding the foil in place. I didn't really feel like I had to hold the numbers in place because I didn't care exactly how this was going to look. I just mainly wanted to get dots added on top, gold dots, and I wasn't trying to make them in a specific pattern. That was going to be too hard to try to get it in exactly the right place. Would have required even additional thought, and I thought this was a fine way to add a little bit of gold on top. And then when I found spots that were where I still wanted to add them, I could lift it up and then just place it back down again. So this was a fun way to play around with that tool. Definitely glad that I ordered the bigger ones. I think that I will definitely utilize this a little bit more in my crafting throughout the year. Just a fun way to add gold. I'm really thinking about too, like adding it into some of my mixed media stuff. Like what would that look like, where you just lay it on top and then you end up writing things in random places. I think that would look really cool too. So we'll see. I might have some more videos that share some more ideas for that as I continue to play with it. But this was a fun way to customize those chipboards. So like I said, you might have black or white or some other color, and this would be a fun way to add some gold on top, and or doing it on your photos like I did in the past. So with the 21 and 22, I considered a couple things for the and. At first I thought I was going to do some stitching on there and stitch like a cross, for a plus sign. And then I considered doing a sewing machine something. I also considered handwriting the word and in between the two chipboard numbers. And while I was trying to decide on that, I came to the conclusion that I wasn't going to stitch. So I could go ahead and adhere the photo onto the background, which is the background from story 20. I decided I could adhere my photo down because I knew that I was going to either find an ampersand embellishment and or use the foil quill pen again to write the word and between the two chipboard numbers. But before I got to that, then I wanted to trim out a little bit more, trim out some of the excess from my previous day as I am adhering this one down on there. Sometimes I leave this part of it out of the videos, but I like to leave it in so you guys can see that that is something that's real for me all the time, and I don't really worry about it at all when I'm using my paper trimmer. Like, I'm not trying to get it perfect. Close enough is more. So I looked in my stash and I actually found a plastic ampersand, which was from, I think, our ampersand kit at some point in the past. I also found this awesome word from the awesome story kit, which was the gold foil word from that particular kit. I really liked the plastic ampersand because it's like a light pink. You might happen to have one of these in your stash or some. I have a collection of ampersands that I've hung on to because I like using them. I like the graphic look of them. And in this case, I really liked that it was almost like a light pink. I thought it was a nice tie-in to the light pink that I have going down along the outside edge there with the pom-pom trim. So now I'm adding rolling adhesive onto my chipboard numbers to adhere them on. I am also going to add one of the green with gold chipboard pieces from the main kit, and that's just going to go down underneath. So essentially this page becomes like an intro into the next couple pages that I have here that hold the story. So which is these the photo enlargements, the photo collage, and then the divided page protector for those 3x4 cards. So that's kind of the intro into this. I also decided to take my 1-inch circle punch and just punch out a small portion right in the middle of that page, partly to signify that it's something that opens up in case somebody was flipping through there and didn't notice that it opened up like that. Then I came into the inside to the divided page protectors. I did decide to add that star right on top. I'm actually going to add it on the outside of the page protector. Most of the time, I would say with things like this, I'm adding them inside the page protector, inside the pocket, or I'm putting embellishments on the cards. But in December Daily, I tend to do more things outside the page protector. Let's see what else. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere that. I thought about a few things. Like I thought about adding other things on there. I thought, like a subhead or another word, and then I decided, I'm just going to leave it. It was such an awesome experience. I love that photo so much. It's definitely blurry if you look up close on it. This is like far away in a concert venue in the dark. So you get what you get in some of the most awesome ways. But he happened to come down to our end of the arena, and so I was able to get a closer picture of him there, and I loved having the spotlight come down. I went into my email and found one of my Ticketmaster emails regarding or about this concert, so I was able to print out some promo material that could be slipped into the pockets. I also added a photo of the girls there. That's what I did a little bit earlier in the process. I know I'm going to handwrite on those inside cards in a little bit here, so I was thinking a little bit about what I might want to put on the outside, and I had a couple more of the canvas circles left over from the project that I did for product play this year using the canvas circles. And so this one I had already like run through the sewing machine. This one was kind of a test one where I was trying to think about what I might want to do for that other project. And so I ended up grabbing another one of them. I don't run it through the sewing machine, but I did add in the small gold brad, and I'm using red line tape to adhere it to the back. So I have one on one side and one on the other side of the vellum. Both of them are outside of the page protector. Again, that's just a personal choice as I am doing that. And then next up, I believe I am in the process of pulling out all of the cards. We'll see what's going to happen next. I think that's next. Oh, but before I do that, I'm going to add one of the gold stickers, the gold glitter stickers from the advent calendar onto the outside, and it gets framed by the other circle or the other star from the main kit. I'm also going to use some of the tabs along the outside of these page protectors. You could also use Avery Index tabs. These are the cute little gold foil tab stickers that we had in this year's collection. Probably one of my favorites. I've used many of them throughout the last 20 stories or so. So I'm adding it to the outside edge. I'm folding it over. It would probably stay just fine in place right there, but I do go ahead and staple it with a tiny attacher just to make sure that it is going to stay in place. Definitely loving how this is turning out. I love having the divided page protector kind of sandwiched on the inside of the photo itself. Like I just felt like that was a fun way to do that. So you're seeing super fast journaling. You can definitely check out what I wrote on each one of these in the blog post. If you're watching this on YouTube, I always have links to the corresponding blog post that has the individual images. You know, at the end, I take pictures of the whole project and put it up on the blog. I loved using the Posca paint pen for the and sign. Like anytime I was going to write and, I will do a plus sign. I didn't do it every time, but the graphic part of that was really fun, having that bright red come out. I loved these particular ing words for this adventure. I thought they worked really well. And I am using my Slick Writer pen to do my actual journaling on here and then underlining. This kind of journaling isn't as precise as, we left on Wednesday morning or whatever day it was. We left on this morning at this time, and it took this long to drive there, and these were some of the things that happened along the drive. It's kind of more just an overview of why we went and who was with us and a few of the things that we did and how I thought about it, and how I always want to remember that concerts are always a good idea and gifting experiences are such a good idea, and I just want to make sure that I continue remembering that, because it was so fun to take them, especially teenagers who like music, like going to concerts. It's been a gift to be able to do these things like this. So I had a couple other photos. One is this really funny blurry photo of Simon and the t-shirt that he picked out, which has a giant Macklemore illustrated face on it. He saw Lizzo, I think it was last year, kind of around this time, if I remember right. And he got picked out the shirt there too that was an illustrated picture, a giant picture of Lizzo. And anyway, it was more of another kind of like an inside joke thing, right? It was funny to Simon and I because we took all this time to take this picture, and then the one picture that I took was really blurry, so he and I laughed quite a bit. Audrey was able to get a photo with one of the opening artists, so I have a picture with the two of them there together. I did add a little bit of twine that I tied in a double knot along with the canvas circles there. Let's see, I did that on the back, and I used green and white twine on that side. I used red and white twine on the other side. I really, really loved having the divided page protector tucked inside of this flip out. Like, that just was a fun way to have a home for all of those words and get a ton of photos into this particular story as well. As always, if you guys have questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will be back soon with another story in December Daily 2023.